We are now joined by UFC welterweight Belal Muhammad. Belal, thank you for joining us.
Thank you guys for having me.
Our first question comes from Colin Crandall with MMA Power Hour.
How you doing, Belal?
Good. How you doing?
Doing very well. Happy to talk to you. So this is a pretty big fight for you. You've been doing really well. It seems like the couple fights that you didn't win were against guys like yourself that are just amazingly talented. How do you feel Lyman Good stacks up? Obviously, you don't want to overlook him, but what kind of a challenge do you think he presents?
I mean, he's a tough guy. He has his strengths and he has his weaknesses, but to me, I feel like I have many more ways to win this fight. I feel like his only way of winning this fight is catching me and trying to knock me out. For me, I could do anywhere. I could outstrike him. I could out grapple him. I could out wrestle him. I could do whatever I want in this fight. I feel like, but like you said, you don't want to be overconfident, but I'm very confident right now. I feel like I'm gonna make a statement out there now, especially with the platform we're on. We're the only sport on, so I want to go out there and make a name for myself right now.
Absolutely. Speaking about the wrestling and grappling, it seems like a lot of fighters have been trying to be entertaining by just getting out there and striking. One of the things that a lot of people notice is a lot of guys who are really high-level wrestlers just seems like they don't want to get out there and wrestle. Is there anything like that fighters hear or that you're told from management or that you feel your promoters are thinking that they just would rather you guys not wrestle too much?
No, I mean, there's nothing like that. Like, there's nobody telling you that, but like you hear the crowd. You'll get go on social media nowadays where everybody has an opinion. They'll tell you about your style, what they think of you, and you want to put on. We're at the entertainment business, so you want to entertain too. So you don't want to just sit there and lay and pray and just hold. Wrestling could be exciting. Look, it could be one of the most exciting fighters in the UFC. So it's all based on how much work you're doing with that wrestling. So like there's guys that'll sit there and push you to the fence, hold you there, make it a boring fight, and just wait, let the time waste. But for me, I want to go out there and still put on an exciting fight. Even though there's no fans in the crowd, I know there's gonna be a bunch of people watching at home, and I want them to after my fight be like, "Man, when's his next fight? When's his next fight? When's his next fight?"
Absolutely. Speaking about the crowd, how unusual is it going to be for you to fight with no crowd? Is it going to benefit you at all? What are some of the positives and the negatives, if any, about having that kind of silence and no crowd there and hearing your corner as clear as you probably will?
Yeah, I feel like that'll be the biggest thing is just hearing the corner very clearly. But just coming off my Abu Dhabi fight, man, just the energy down there and the crowd out there was crazy. It was like every punch I would land, the crowd would go nuts. So it's gonna be a big difference now. Maybe I'll convince Dana White to give me a couple cheers every time I land a jab or something. But still, I mean, you can't tell until you get in there. I had a couple teammates fight in there, and they said it's a different type of energy that you're gonna feel when you get in there. So just be prepared for it. So I feel like it's not gonna be one of those until I get in there that I'm really gonna know how to react.
Absolutely. Last question from me. You're known as having one of the best senses of humor of all the fighters in the UFC. What percentage of fighters have a good sense of humor, would you say, in your experience?
Man, I think the percentage is low, man. It's what usually when you go to different things and meet a bunch of different fighters, everybody just has that attitude where their chest is up and they want to look at you tough, and you're like, relax, I'm a fighter too. Like we don't need a fight right now. I'm not even in your weight class. Uh, but during this quarantine, it's been funny to see like different guys' personalities come out because there was no fights on, so you couldn't show anything. So it was all about social media and how you interacted with fans and stuff like that, man. But honestly, one of the guys that I thought was hilarious that I didn't know was Darren Till, man. He got a follow from me after that. The guy's pretty funny.
Cool. Well, I appreciate it a lot. Look forward to another exciting fight from you, Bilal.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Next question is from Jay Anderson with Cape Side Press.
Hey, thanks very much. And a couple of quick ones from me. First of all, Bilal, it's kind of weird to see an upside in a pandemic, I guess, but do you feel there's some opportunities here? We see guys making quick turnarounds, in some cases, a quicker path to the title, even.
Yeah, man, that's what I'm saying. That a lot of these guys are losing opportunity right now, where they're using the pandemic and what's called to not fight, so they can save the number next to their name. A lot of these ranked fighters don't want to fight right now. They're just sitting out. Oh, I can't train during this quarantine. I'm like, you're a UFC fighter. You get a key to a gym. You could go in there and train. There's a lot of things you could do. But I feel like a lot of guys are just using this time to be lazy or just trying to save their spot. Uh, but you see other guys like Gilbert Burns fighting twice, ready fighting for the title. He's only been in the weight class literally for like 2 years, 4 fights, and now he's fighting for the title. It's just all about opportunity, and he was always ready for the opportunity, and that's what I want to be on. I'm healthy after this fight. I want to turn around right away uh, and get back in there. You see guys like Dan Ige popping up right away, gives himself a main event. This is the time where you make a name for yourself, where we're the only sport on TV, and people need something to watch, and they're going to be paying attention to the guys that are actually in there fighting.
I mean, there's been criticism of the rankings for a while and how much they really mean, but do you think this is going to change things moving forward? Maybe after this, people will be more willing to take those kind of opportunities?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the rankings are trash. But like you said, where nowadays guys are just so afraid to fight below them. I don't want to fight below me. I don't want to fight below me. And then now as you see Dana White's like, all right, well, we're moving on to the next guy. Masvidal didn't want to fight. Moving on to the next guy. So now, as you can see, like even guys with that big a name, they're willing to pass up on them. So if you're freaking 10 or 11, they won't hesitate to pass up on you. So if you're not willing to say yes, then either don't fight or get out of the rankings.
And last one for me, I mean, when the fight with Lyman originally fell through and he announces he's tested positive for COVID-19, I mean, was there any thought on your part of saying, you know what, just find me someone else? Maybe, I don't know how long it's going to take for him to get over it and just kind of moving on from it? Or was it important to hold on to this matchup?
No, I actually did uh, I was looking for an opponent for April 18th card when that card happened. That was like the craziest like last week I've ever had. It was one of those where you don't know if the card's gonna happen with everybody saying, "Oh, COVID, COVID, COVID." Don't let this card go through. Don't let this card go through. Then Lyman pulled out, and I was like, "Oh crap!" And then UFC was like, "Well, we're looking for an opponent." So then I was like, "All right, cool. I don't really care who it is. They'll throw out names," and I'm saying yes to everybody. And then you're still getting family and friends. Hey, you're not on the card. You're not on the card. What the heck? And I'm like, yo, relax. They're trying to give me an opponent, and you're cutting weight, and then you're still dealing with man, is the fight gonna fall through? And then Khabib pulled out, and you're like, oh crap. But then they got Justin, so you're like, all right, you know what? The card's still gonna go through. Justin's a great replacement. But it was kind of like a sense of relief that the whole card just got canceled because it was literally fight week, and I was sitting there and not had knowing who I'm fighting, not knowing if the fight card is gonna happen, if it's gonna get canceled on the day of, like the London card. Uh, but in the end, like I thought they were gonna end up giving me somebody else, but then they called me again and they said,
Our last question comes from Stephen Morocco. Stephen, your line has been unmuted.
Can you hear me?
yeah, now I can hear you.
Okay, great. Just wanted to check in. What's going on with your father's store right now?
Unfortunately, we're probably gonna have to shut it down after this. Um, but we got other stuff where we're in the works with. Just opened up other doors for us, different opportunities for us. So we'll be all good.
What do you mean other opportunities?
I mean, now it gives us different places to. Now, my father built that store from the ground up, and it was one of those where we wanted to pass it on to his kids. And the cell phone game, and then it was like a cell phone store, so in Chicago. So, but now we've always been looking into opening up different businesses, different this, different that. So now it like gives us the opportunity to actually do that thing. Otherwise, you're sitting there procrastinating, like, oh, we still got the cell phone store, we still got this. We always have that to fall back on, but now it makes us push on the gas more a little about doing different things and getting into different markets. So other small businesses, things like that.
Gotcha. And what do you think overall of the success of the Black Lives Matter movement in your community?
I mean, it's not really successful until big changes happen. So it's not a community thing; it's a world thing that needs to be changed. So until stuff happens worldwide, then little small communities aren't going to change. So, but I feel like they're starting to make moves. Trump just signed that bill where officers now are going to be held accountable, where they make that database. So little small stuff like that, I feel like it's going to start changing. As you see, like NBA players now are saying that they're not going to start the season until bigger changes happen. So I feel like now people are actually realizing how crazy this is and how much like hurt people are going through. So I know the NFL, even the NFL coaches and stuff, they're stepping up. Even when Kaepernick did it, he wanted to really pay attention. But now that everybody's doing it, now that you have to do it, otherwise you're gonna look bad. So hopefully people actually start making big changes.
And what prompted you to get involved with that video with Angela and Israel Adesanya?
What did you say?
Can you talk about how you got involved in that video with Angela Hill and Israel Adesanya?
Oh yeah, man. I'm all for the movement. Like I'm about change. And Randy Brown was setting it up. Randy Brown called me, messaged me, and asked if I wanted to be a part of it. And of course, I wanted to be a part of it. That was a big message, I feel like, and a big message for the UFC to show that where we stand and the fighters where we stand. And I thought it turned out great.
Did the UFC share that video on their account?
Yeah. The UFC did, and I think the ESPN MMA did.
Gotcha. All right. Well, thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Our next question is from Georgie Cook-Willie. You have been unmuted.
Oh, thank you. First of all, my name is Georgi Kokiashvili and I'm from Majara Sport. Belal, first of all, I want to wish you all the best. And my question is very simple and one. You had 3 losses in your career, so my question is it's very simple, as I said. What did you learn from these fights?
I mean, you learn a lot from every fight. You learn so much after a loss. You go back, you think about it, and for me, I had the pleasure of going down to Fortis MMA and training this last one. My last opponent I lost to was Jeff Neal. I went down there, trained down there with that team and those guys on there. It was great experience for me to be able to train with a team that built a game plan against you, and then they explained what they saw. They helped me out so much, and I feel like little stuff that they saw, now it helped me even change my game even more.
Thank you so much. Wish you all the best on such day.
Appreciate it.
That's all we have for you today, Belal. Thank you.